The Search for God. Introductory reflection on the topic. Let us reflect on our beginnings, when at one point we didn't exist, and then we entered this world as a fetus. Our start in the world began through the formation of our first cell, which contained 46 chromosomes, by the joining of 23 chromosomes from each of our parents. The joining of these two sets of chromosomes brings about the joining of informations held within each of our parents' chromosomes to create the first cell in the womb of our mother. This first cell, which is the result of fertilization of the female egg by the male sperm, leads to the creation of further cells through the process of cell division, which leads to a multicellular organism known as the fetus. Within the fetus, organs, columns of vertebrae, muscles are created that are then covered by a layer of skin. In this way, the fetus slowly takes physical form. Until this point, the shape of this fetus is more or less similar to the shape of the fetus of all vertebrates. But from this point on, some fetuses started to develop 2 arms and 2 legs, some 2 wings and 2 legs, and others have wings instead of limbs. All this development occurs according to a certain blueprint that is held within the genes of each creature and are carried within their chromosomes. So at the point of joining of 2 sets of chromosomes, a certain energy, which is referred to as al-Faliq, is responsible for development of the cells according to the information held within each set of chromosomes. So it is the al-Faliq energy that develops the fetus based on the blueprint held within the chromosomes. So it is this energy that is responsible for guiding the development of each cell into a fetus that finally leaves the womb. From this point onwards, the endocrine glands that are located in the old brain or the palliar cortex take charge of the growth of the fetus through different types of instructions, such as resting or sleeping, eating when one is hungry, drinking when one is thirsty, digestion, and the removal of waste from the body. Along this process, the different sections of the body starts to grow, and the brain also develops. Up to the age of 17, this growth process continues as the body increases in height, mental capacity, and also develops reproductive organs. This growth continues slowly until the age of 40, when the body starts to slowly regress, as many of the organs slow down and slowly lose their prior degree of functionality. As a result, the vital energy of the body is reduced and the body's aging process begins. Yet the energy which guided the development of the fetus continues its connection to the body, even if the person is unaware of this energy, which is responsible for the person's creation, because the person is either lost in their thoughts or desires that dictate their daily lives. This creative energy has many names and is often named as Allah, or Atman, or Mazda. But in order to discover this energy, one must look within. each person has a pathway to this creative energy. This creative energy is the creator of all universe, and by discovering this connection, one can gain knowledge about this creator. But how is one supposed to discover this connection from inside oneself? For discovering this connection, there are many paths that lead the person to discover one's Lord, who is the Lord of creation. For this, we must distance ourselves from our intellect, desires, and get closer to our true selves. The first organ that is created in the fetus, approximately 40 days after its inception, is the heart. This beating heart is responsible for carrying energy around the body and is therefore the central point of the person's living energy. Consequently, there is a special direct connection between the creative energy or the creator and the heart of each person. Thus, focusing on the beating heart is similar to focusing on the creator itself. The most direct way to attain this connection is through focusing on our breath, as by focusing on the breath one can travel towards one's heart, as through each inhale one can travel to one's heart and leave the heart through each exhale. But the discovery of the secrets of this breathing technique and its connection to the heart and the connection to the Creator requires a teacher who has mastered this method. This method contains steps and special exercises that one needs to learn from a qualified teacher who has mastered this process. However, one should not confuse the teacher with the Creator and fall into the trap of idol worship or cult of personality. This type of connection requires a teacher and a method that can't be attained simply by reading prayers or some texts. So the first step in the process is finding a qualified teacher who can show the student this process, which leads one on the path of spiritual evolution. A good teacher is the person who teaches the student that the beginning and the end of the process is within each person, and thus the student should not look outside of themselves, but instead focus within and not waste their lives on external distractions. Thus, a true teacher only shows the student that the path that he needs to follow or she needs to follow is within each student themselves. Therefore, the student, after finding the right teacher, must ask the teacher to show the student this method that allows the student to journey within. Consequently, a teacher is like a coach that helps to develop the student's own inner aptitudes, which the student is initially unaware of before the student starts on the path of self-discovery.